Hello everyone, this is Marvelous Mike, and we are on the eve of CM Punk's debut in AEW, and this is sort of a review of AEW Dark, or just sort of an, observation. And I want to get into that. This was a decent show. I really never have paid too much attention to the developmental type matches. I mean, I've watched it occasionally, but not really. The developmental type matches of what AEW has, where they're going, and what they're going to be doing next. And I was really sort of, they had a few matches on there that I really did not really just sort of get with. I mean, they were total squash matches, which I understand how stars need to be stars. They need to start, they have to develop their stars. But also you want that, especially when somebody is a heel. You want points, or somebody is a babyface. Number one is a heel. You want someone to give shining moments to those babyface characters, that even though the heel is going to squash them eventually, that they have those shining moments. You can either do it one of two ways. You can have, you're portraying a monster heel that comes in and just squashes somebody in a matter of seconds. And that's good. If you're trying to really build somebody up, like Jade Cargill, for instance, they're really trying to build her up. She looks fantastic, and she's got the charisma to be a major player in the women's division in AEW, and the AEW women's division desperately needs someone in it that has charisma. But then, you have them middle card type characters that they're heels, and then you have this baby face that comes on, and the baby face is just completely, you can tell that they're green, but you don't know if they have any talent or not, because they're not allowed to do anything in the ring. And I don't like those. I don't like those type of matches like that. And it doesn't do any good. I mean, you had Kazarian in his match. Kazarian is a seasoned veteran, and then you had the guy that he was facing. He had a couple of moments where they're good. And, but, the heel needs to be able to cheat. That's the one thing that in modern wrestling that I just don't really get with too much, is that, heels aren't allowed to be heels and get heat and cheat, because heels cheat to win. When we had, Darby Allin, I didn't catch that one. I saw, Pinnacle's tag team match, and there again, you have a good tag team between Worrell, whatever, how you pronounce his name, and I forget his name, the five guys, the 5 points that he was perfection in the WWE. Can't think of his name. But anyway, they, and I'm sorry, but they looked good, and you know the tag division in AEW is the difference between definitely light and dark between between them and the WWE. And then you have the Dark Order come down with John Silver and this other dude, I think he's called number 5 or something like that. And then you have this African American team. And these guys are chiseled, they look great. And, it was a total squash match, and the guys didn't even have a chance to get hardly any offense on at all. And it just was ridiculous. And, I know that, why not build those guys up and let those guys get some offense? Why not make them a badass heel team, to get some momentum? And, I know that they say that, well, these guys have got to learn, pay their dues. You know what? Those guys are there, and they need to be able to shine for a little bit. And, I looked at that tag team, and those guys looked amazing. And they looked like wrestlers, instead of little dudes. And which that's okay. Don't get on me. These guys look like wrestlers, and I looked at them automatically, and I said, "Hey, those guys look like Doom." And I was like, "Hey, that wouldn't they look great if they sort of come out in mask and had a manager there with them, and that and they would beat these guys in the Dark Order, which doesn't really matter if they win or lose. I mean, come on, they say wins and losses on AEW Dark shouldn't even matter at all, because it's supposed to be sort of AEW's developmental program. But again, it was in Chicago, and the last match was Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy and Jurassic Express with Luchasaurus, and they was facing some jobber team, which I love their, I liked that they had something going on with that jobber team, and that they had some personality, which unlike any of the others had personality. You can just tell the difference between, and maybe I'm off of what I'm saying, I know that, they've tried and they've done all they can do to build up Darby Allin in AEW, and some kids, they like him, skateboarding thing. But I'm sorry, Jungle Boy he has it. I don't know what it is, but he has it. And then at the end, again, we are blessed with CM Punk, and he has the whole, and I was just thinking of that little song, I have the whole wide world in my hands, and he had that crowd in the palm of his hand. Now, granted, it is in Chicago, and they have really played to the Chicago crowd here lately, but what a awesome job that they have done in bringing in CM Punk, and what an awesome job not even being in a match with Jungle Boy or Luchasaurus. And you could tell that CM Punk just looked at Jungle Boy and said, man, you got something special. And he does. I mean, he has a presence about him in the ring that's something special. I mean, he's got that Shawn Michaels type specialness about him, and you can just feel it emanating, the charisma emanating from him. That why they have not put the AEW World Tag Team Championships on them, I do not understand. I mean, here at AEW All Out, we're going to get again the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks, and they're going to fight for the 100th time, and it's time for the Young Bucks to pass those belts off, and that needs to be done, and that needs to be passed off to Jurassic Express, because they're ready to get that persona. And that can be, they need to work. Now, I don't like their finisher. It was really sloppy. Their finisher was, whatever that's called, but it was really sloppy. But they just have that presence of the Rock and Roll Express, and it's there. The crowd is there with her and singing their songs, and and what really topped it off was CM Punk coming down, and it made a huge difference. I mean, he wasn't even in the match. He didn't even have to wrestle. It made a huge difference. And there was like 20,000 people watching that episode live. And it was just, and that's phenomenal on YouTube. And there's no telling how many's going to watch it, again. And, CM Punk is doing the right thing. His heart's in the right place. It's not just simply, yes, he is probably making an insane amount of money. But let's be really clear here. There's a difference between what CM Punk is doing and what anybody in the WWE is doing or allowed to do. He is making the distinction between being an icon in wrestling and just being, a superstar propped up by the WWE machine. There you go. I said it. And he literally has the wrestling world in the palm of his hand. And I was thinking, I really, other than Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, but particularly Stone Cold Steve Austin, I don't know. Maybe Jerry the King Lawler in Memphis. Maybe Hulk Hogan back during, right back during the height of the rock and wrestling era. I really don't know if there, in the last generation, if there has been a wrestler that has the pulse on what the crowd wants, how to be, and how to, who knows what his performance in the ring is going to be, tomorrow night. But right now, CM Punk, and we don't know, I expect a heel turn from CM Punk, and it makes sense. But right now, because he would just be that guy that would, twist everything and be that anti-hero. And, he thrives on that storyline. And also there's Bryan Danielson thrives on that storyline. But right now he has the entire wrestling world in the palm of his hand. And He don't need the AEW championship. He don't need the TNT championship. He goes to Madison Square Garden right now. He sells out Madison Square Garden. It's, we've never seen somebody that's been so far removed from the wrestling scene that has come back and had this type of response. And it is really phenomenal to see. Say, well, that's just in Chicago. But that, I think, is going to be carried over into different parts of the country. And, when he come out and WWE lost rights to Cult of Personality. And these things like this. Say, well, all this. But he has the entire wrestling world in the palm of his hand. And I am excited to see what happens at the pay-per-view. I'm excited to see, he is, we're going to get sick of seeing, but, he's making an insane amount of money, and he is going to be the face, and no matter how big Kenny Omega is, and it would be very wise to keep the storylines completely away from Kenny Omega right now with CM Punk. But we have, I don't know if it would be even wise to turn CM Punk heel. Bryan Danielson can come in maybe and be a heel. That would be sort of, the kryptonite to CM Punk's, world. And so anyway, this is my thoughts on AEW Dark. And I know that this is a little bit extra, that I normally don't do this, and hopefully I will be posting on the results of AEW All Out tomorrow night, or probably Monday, one of the two. I'm in graduate school. I have a paper due, so I'll probably be working on that. But I'll get to it when I get to it. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this. Be sure to share, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you later. I hope you enjoy the pay-per-view. And do you think? Do you really think that they have the AEW, that CM Punk really has the? I just don't think you can turn CM Punk heel right now. I think it'd be very bad just turning him heel right now, because he is going to be the face of AEW, and he has the wrestling world by its grips right now, and it's an amazing thing to witness. I never thought that I would see this again in my lifetime, to be honest. But it's great. We need this. And I hope y'all enjoy the pay-per-view. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.